Welcome to this week's Messiah Minutes. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I ask that you like this, share this, and get it out, and I hope you're getting something from this. A few announcements before we take off here. Tomorrow night we have youth again. Please join us for that. It starts at 6. I thank you, everyone who signed up for meals, but we're going to continue to need that throughout the year. As school is starting, we're going to start to pick up and get more and more kids here. So please, if you can sign up, volunteer, come help with that. That would be great. We also have our adult midweek services tomorrow night at 6:30, so come out for that. And then this Saturday is the car show. Our registration is from 10 to noon, and then the trophy presentation will be at 3 on Saturday. And then Sunday, we have our new interim pastor is starting, Claude Robold. He will be here Sunday to give the message, so please come and support him. That would be awesome to see you. And then also we have a tent meeting. The West Liberty First Church of God is starting their tent meeting the 7th through the 14th. And Pastor Ed is going to be preaching there on the 14th at the 10:30 service. So we ask that you go out and support him as well. Let's dive back into the Word where we've been living for the last few months here. 2 Corinthians 10, 3 through 5. And I know some of you are thinking, man, we just keep doing the same thing. Well, we're supposed to live in the Word, and we're going to live in this one until we can get to a place where we feel like we're doing this daily, and we're holding our thoughts captive, and we're actually demolishing those thoughts that don't belong with divine power that comes from Christ. So let's stay there for a while. For though we live in the world, we do not wage war as the world does. The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. So last week we talked a little bit about Solomon, how Solomon instructs us in Scripture that we're supposed to guard our hearts, or as he said in the original language, our lebs, our inner selves, our minds, our thoughts, and we're supposed to guard that above all else. And if we're told to guard something, then that automatically should imply that there is an intruder. There's something that's trying to get in there, to break in, or something that we have to guard it from. All right? They're negative, immoral, sometimes horrible, terrible thoughts that are trying to break into our mind and our inner self, our lebs, most of the time. And most of the time, I think that we don't know where they come from. So today we're going to talk about where they come from. We're going to talk about the importance and the danger of exposure in our daily lives and what that means for us. We've already talked about how our thoughts can shape our lives. Our thoughts are shaped by something, though, and that tends to be the things that we're exposed to. So what we expose ourselves to is what's molding our thoughts. We talked last week about how it's natural for us to think that if we want to change, then we need to change our behaviors. If this has to change, then I need to change this about myself. I need to stop doing this and start doing this. That's what we've always been taught, so that's what we focus on. Well, I want you to actually start focusing on that thought and start holding that thought captive, because that thought's not necessarily true. When we focus on changes, we tend to focus on output. I need to stop doing this one thing if I'm going to change this. Or I want to stop thinking this thought, so I just need to stop thinking this. Or I shouldn't say those things, so I need to stop saying these things. But instead of output, I want us to start focusing on input. If we change what we're putting in, then what we're putting out is going to change. It's naturally going to change. So change the input, you automatically change the output. If you decide that you really want to be more gentle and you want to be more patient, I'm going to ask you automatically what your input is like. I'm going to ask you that. I'm going to challenge you. If you want those things, but you can't get enough of these like angry political podcasts that claim that everything is against you all the time and you need to fight back, then it's going to be really tough for you to change. It's going to be really tough for you to become more gentle and more patient. Let's say that you decide you want to work on humility, that you're really struggling with pride. I'm going to ask you what your input looks like. If it's full of this constant consumerism that tells you that you are entitled and that you should be the center of your universe and that you need to put yourself first because nobody else is going to, so your needs need to come before everyone else's, then it's going to be tough for you to grow in humility. How about if you say you want to be holy? How about if you say you want to be more holy? Your greatest desire is to grow closer to God and by being pure. I'm going to ask you what you're putting in your mind. I'm going to ask you what images you're looking at daily. I understand that that's a real struggle for a lot of people. We have become a very very even hyper-sexualized culture. I get that. And I'm not trying to make light of that. But if that is your input, it's going to be very difficult for you to grow in holiness. You kind of understand what I'm saying? Your input is what's going to come out in your life. One way or another, what you put in will come out. So what you're exposed to is going to shape your thoughts, and your thoughts shape your life. So I want you to start thinking about the things you're exposing yourself to. I would recommend that we start journaling. I would recommend that you start journaling. I journal. Keep a journal. Keep a journal, and I want you to write down a couple things. The first thing I want you to do, if you're really serious about your relationship with God, and you're really serious about wanting your life to change, you want to start living joyfully, you want to start living under God's blessing, then you have to start holding your thoughts captive and using the divine power that comes from Him to demolish those. Because those thoughts are not just set up against you, they're set up against Him. It's the same. They're preventing you from growing in your relationship with Him. I encourage you to start keeping a journal. And it can be on your phone. I understand nobody wants to carry around a notebook. It can be on your phone. Put it on your notes, and you can print it off if you want to. But I encourage you to start one. In this journal, I want you to start writing down your thoughts. Not all your thoughts. I understand that's what you're going to do all day. But the thoughts that continue to keep coming, the reoccurring thoughts, definitely the ones that you struggle with the most. I want you to start writing those down. And I really want you to start writing down the things you're exposed to. Not just the things you see, the things you hear too. What are you watching? What are you listening to? What does your input look like? You might be surprised what you're going to find out about yourself when you start to compare your thoughts and your input. It's easier to do when you have that written down. I want you to join me next week. We're going to continue talking about our inputs. I think we'll start out next week talking about some things that we listen to and actually how much power and influence that really has over us. And I really do. I hope these messages are challenging you. I know the instinct for a lot of us is to brush this stuff off and think, you know what, that information's good, but I don't need it. I'm doing just fine. Everything's going right now. Life's going great. I don't want to change anything. Well, let me just tell you, if you're not spending time with God daily and you're not spending time in your own mind, training yourself to hold these thoughts captive and to demolish them, I'm telling you to be careful because the enemy has not forgotten about you. I can guarantee you that. I can assure you that he is still waiting. He's lying, and he's hoping that you get complacent, and he's hoping you get comfortable, and he's hoping that you feel like everything's great. Don't be foolish, guys. We've been talking about this. We are in a fight. We have to choose daily whether we're going to engage in that fight or not. And I'm challenging you to engage in it, to be proactive, to start your day by engaging in it. You have to push back against the enemy, and we have to start using God's divine power to take back some of the ground. We have to do it. It starts with you. It starts with you and within your own mind. But that's just the beginning. There's so much more that God has called us to do. But if we can't get this right, it's hard to start doing the other stuff. So I'm challenging you to do that. I'm challenging you to start using His power to take back this property up here. I love you guys. I thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.